Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Tom. Today, I just want to jump back into the swing of things. I know I've been gone for quite a while. For those of you guys who've been hitting me up on Facebook, a lot of you guys have been staying in touch with me on there. I started a new position, working with a big telecommunications company, as well as doing some work for a fintech hedge fund that hasn't quite launched yet. I'm going to be keeping you guys updated on that. But today I just want to jump back into it, give you guys an idea of where I think the market's going to go. Do I think Bitcoin's going to go higher? Do I think it's going to go lower? And kind of my thought process behind that. So honestly, guys, I think Bitcoin's going lower. If you watched my last video about XRP, I briefly did a Bitcoin price prediction when I think it was about maybe 2 weeks ago, and Bitcoin was kind of double topping here. The reason why let's actually pull up a Coinbase chart here just to kind of keep it consistent with the US. The thing I don't like about all of these bull runs, especially this quite giant bull run that we had here after that large snapback, after this huge decline, is because there's no volume. And that's what I don't like to see, is when you have a bull run backed by little to no volume, you pretty much know that it's going to be a continuation pattern to the downside. And that's what we've seen here. I've structured my position, structured my portfolio to where, honestly, I don't care where Bitcoin trades in the short term because, as you know, after that huge altcoin bull run, I converted a lot of my altcoins back into Bitcoin, and I asked myself, hey, if Bitcoin dips below, whatever it was, $15,000, $13,000, $12,000, am I going to be comfortable holding a large amount of Bitcoin? The answer for me was no, so I sold off a lot into cash. My portfolio was relatively small, so I think I sold off about like 2.5 Bitcoin, and I left the rest ride, probably about 1 Bitcoin to trade into other altcoins, and then roughly I think I have a solid Bitcoin just locked away that I will probably never touch. Just as like an experiment, I'll probably keep that forever. But that was just my way of mitigating my risk, and everybody else has their own risk tolerance. That was just mine. So I think this is going to be a continuation pattern to the downside, guys. And so now I'm kind of thanking myself for selling off a little bit of my Bitcoin, because I will have my buy target set probably around 4,900 and maybe 3,500. That's going to be my buy range, and I'm going to start dollar cost averaging if Bitcoin can get to that level. Now, I'm not saying it's going to get there, right? I'm not saying that Bitcoin is definitely going down to 5,000, but I really do think it can get there. And the reason why I say that is because every single time we've had a little bit of a bull trend here, every single time we've had a little bit of buy side action, it's been met with very, very low volume, and it's just been creeping up and sort of forming these little bit of like wedge triangle patterns, and people are mistaking them as bull flags. Obviously, you can trade them short term because these swings are, maybe like let's see the percentage gain on them if you were to just to kind of like swing these, like 15-17% gain. So I mean, trading has been good. I know a lot of you guys have been trading this. Some of you I know have been trading leverage, which I never recommend, and I would probably never do. But I mean, more power to you guys if you're making money. But yeah, these are my two buy targets. So I think that probably Bitcoin is due to drop a little bit more. I would say, let's see. So my buy range, about 5,000. So if it gets to my buy range at around maybe like 4,900, that's about a 35% drop. If we can get to maybe like 3,500, that's going to be like a 50% drop. And I really do honestly think it can get there, mainly because I just don't think Bitcoin's ready yet, right? And we need to see that buy side volume come in, just kind of like we saw in these parabolic blowoffs. Like we had a ton of incredible buy side volume. And one thing I've noticed, guys, is that if you think about it, after Bitcoin hit around like 7,500, like where we're kind of hovering around now, it was just a complete parabolic blowoff. And as we all know, when price action goes way too parabolic to the upside, it can't build any sort of fundamental support base on the way up. therefore comes crashing down. And it's interesting to see that really the first time Bitcoin really found support, well, like real support, it's been kind of trading in this range here around 7,500. Briefly dipped below that to like 5,900 for a brief amount of time, but this is what I look at, guys. Basic support and resistance lines. Obviously, this isn't sustainable if you have complete, parabolic blow off to the upside. Like there's nowhere for price to fall. Price has to fall somewhere, and that's why with a lot of these altcoins, I think they're getting close, guys. I think they're getting close. So I'm gonna start maybe ramping up my dollar cost averaging into some other coins that I'm interested in. Reason being is because I think they're starting to form accumulation patterns. So for example, if we go to Cardano, I've been interested in for a long time, but I just think that it has been way overpriced. Mainly, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way because a lot of people were lumping the whole Tron bull run in with Cardano. Like, oh, if you have Tron, you have to own Cardano. So I just didn't even want to play into that at all. But now, if you guys can tell, it's the same thing. You have huge parabolic blow off. Price can never build a steady support base. And if you notice, we had some support, like if any, around 70 cents. Price kind of tried to trade range bound there. Then we dropped to our next support, which is about 42 cents, and we've just been slowly bleeding out. And I think that's what's going to continue. I think a lot of these big players, even some retail investors, are just going to start selling at ridiculous losses. And I think the market will absolutely exhaust some investors to the point where they sell at ridiculous losses and price continues to bleed out. For me, I find that very good, and I find that very lucrative for myself because I think I'll start dollar cost averaging and start buying Cardano if it can get down to probably 11, 12 cents. And I think what we'll see are these long dragged out accumulation patterns where price will probably trade range bound anywhere in between 11 and 15 cents, maybe for a couple months. And then during summer, we will go into our next altcoin bull run. Obviously, that's just my personal opinion, my personal price speculation there. But it's classic market cycle patterns, guys. And when you have price, at ridiculous levels, if a coin and if an asset, whatever asset it may be, if it's not growing at a sustainable rate and building a good support base on the way up, price has to fall somewhere. So it's going to come crashing down like a house of dominoes to where it can find its nearest support, which I think will probably be around 11 cents. Could it go lower and bleed out? Of course, but Cardano is a coin that I really wanted to get into. I haven't owned it, and I think I'm going to start buying, but just not at this price point, maybe a little bit lower. ICX, I will continue to dollar cost average this. Probably, I wouldn't even be surprised if it got down to like $1. We've seen this a little bit of a bull run here because of good news on Korean exchanges and the like. And a ton of people were on Twitter like, oh, I have to buy ICX now because it's going up. I'm like, guys, the price is gonna fade off in a matter of days, and we're down 20% now. Granted, they were doing the airdrop as well, so probably people were buying for hype for that to get the airdrop. But going back to Bitcoin, those are going to be my buy zones. That's my reason why I think Bitcoin's going lower. I think Wall Street, big institutional money, wants to do one last shakeout, right? It was interesting, and it was really interesting to see how Wall Street, hey, we want to launch futures trading on Bitcoin. Oh, that's interesting. And after they announced that, they had ridiculous run up to the upside, and then they slammed the price on everybody. So I think Wall Street has, in a way, successfully gamed another asset class. I understand that Bitcoin is supposed to be centralized around decentralization, but I do believe that Wall Street does have some sort of manipulative force, and some big whales still have a play in this. So I think that we're going to get completely fudded with tons of bad news. Obviously, Twitter came out saying that they're going to ban cryptocurrency advertisements, which I think is absolutely crazy. I really don't think it'll have too much of an impact, but I do think that we're due for one last shakeout. Technicals do not look good, guys. Volume is very low, which I don't like to see. One thing I will say is that, CNBC, MSNBC are saying misery indexes are at all-time highs for cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, which in my opinion is good, but I do not think we are there yet. If we look at the one-day chart, I want to see the one-day oversold again, right? I'm not going to buy Bitcoin unless this is oversold. Can it get there? Some people say it can't. I position myself in a way to where I have my Bitcoin position set. I took my profits, so if I'm wrong and Bitcoin, goes to the moon, goes back to 15,000, 20,000, hey, I made money, and I took my profits, and I still hold some Bitcoin, so I'm making my gains on there. And if it does, trade the way I want and goes down to, let's say, 5,000 or even lower, I think my buy zones, guys, are like 5,000. Probably even 3,500. I think it can get there. I really honestly do. And I will be dollar cost averaging my way down, and maybe try to pick up 2 or 3 Bitcoin from the range of like 5,000 to 3,500. Again, if I'm wrong, I don't care. If it can't get there, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. If it goes up, it's a win-win situation. Win-win situation for me. I just want to figure out a way to where I can mitigate my risk as much as possible. I don't care about being right. And that's why I like investing. That's why I like trading. It's because it's the only place on earth where I can still be successful while being wrong, right? Because if you look at my trading career, I'm probably only right like maybe 40% of the time, maybe probably less, honestly. But I'm just very good with risk management. I cut my losses quickly and I let my winners ride. That's really all there is to it. Now, if we zoom out to the weekly, this is what I want to see, guys, and I really truly believe we can get there. If we can't, obviously, again, I don't care, but that's when I will be buying Bitcoin. I will 100% be buying Bitcoin, anywhere 5,000 and below to like 3,500. And I really truly believe we can get there. I want to see weekly RSI maybe touch around 40. I don't even know if that's possible, but if weekly RSI can get to like 40 or maybe 45, what's it at now? Like 46. Let's say 40. I want it to get to around 40 for the weekly RSI. I would say that's cheap Bitcoin. I would honestly say that's cheap Bitcoin, and I would get excited about that, guys, because this is when you want to be getting involved in the cryptocurrencies. If you are a person that's like, hey, I missed the first wave, our cryptocurrency is dead, this is when you should start getting involved. And you don't have to stress yourself out and worry about, suffering catastrophic losses, because that's why you dollar cost average and size in your positions. If you say, hey, I want to risk $5,000 in the cryptocurrency market, you don't just slam freaking $5,000 down at a random price, right? You pick your buy zones and you size in your positions. Maybe you throw $100 into Bitcoin every Wednesday, right? Like for me, for ICX, every single Friday, like clockwork, I'm throwing in $100. And it's like I don't even realize that I'm spending the $100 because it's just so incremental, right? Another thing I want to point out, guys, is that anytime you have price action like this, like I've said before previously in this video, look, after about $7,300, it has just been a complete tear to the upside. And it's funny because it comes all crashing down like a house of dominoes. And it's funny how price really only stabilized right back to its nearest support on the weekly, right? So that's just what I'm thinking, guys, but I think it'll break it. And then the reason why I had that price target of like 5,040, 500, and finally 3,500 is because that's the next level of support. That's it. I'm keeping it simple. I'm not going to do any, like Ichimoku clouds. I know a lot of people are into that, and it does work. But I want to take a passive sort of sense to investing in Bitcoin, and I will size a new position of about maybe 2 to 3 Bitcoin should it get to those price targets I want. I'm a Bitcoin bull, like I've said before, but I do think that Wall Street is planning a shakeout. I don't think the selling is over. I think we're going to have to suffer a little bit more pain and then maybe go into a little bit of an accumulation pattern. If you just look up a chart of a market cycle, that's how market cycles work. I think that big institutions want to get in on this. However, and the reason why I know that is because I'm personally well, not working for, I'm doing a little bit of market research, writing a couple articles for a newly developing fintech firm stationed out of London and New York. A couple of my buddies that were commodities traders at Morgan Stanley are now raising money, actively raising capital for a fintech hedge fund, and they know I'm into cryptocurrencies and investing. I've known them for a while, so we'll see how that plays out. So that's why I don't buy the narrative that the media is like, oh, cryptocurrencies are dead, it's over, we had our bull run. Okay, well then why are so many fintech firms actively raising money, right? See, that's what I don't understand. I know they want to get in. And it was funny how, if we remember back when Michael Novogratz was going to launch his cryptocurrency hedge fund, he's like, oh, you know what, we're going to put it on hold due to market conditions. Of course he's going to put it on hold due to market conditions, guys. Bitcoin was $17,000, right? So now that it's taken, let's see how much of a hit this is taken in terms of percentage-wise. About, at its lowest point, 69%. So I think in my buy zone, it'll have retraced 77%. That's my target. I think that's when big players are going to get in. In terms of altcoins, I know a lot of you guys have been asking about altcoins. I do think that we have seen the death of a lot of altcoins. Now, I think that we will see ridiculous gains in a lot of altcoins that have good premises, good use cases, they're good protocols. Obviously, you guys know the ones that I'm bullish on, that I'm dollar cost averaging into. But however, I don't think that we'll see majority of the institutional money coming on retail exchanges. A lot of people are like, oh, hedge funds are going to launch, and they're going to launch and put money on retail exchanges. I really don't think that's going to happen, right? I think that hedge funds, institutions are going to be very strategic, and they are going to get in on cryptocurrency projects and fintech projects that are pre-ICO. Wall Street's not going to pay a premium. Once, a new coin, a new project ICOs, Wall Street will have already 10x their investment. That's what I think is going to happen. But I will say that there will probably be, a good majority of the coins that are on the coin market cap right now that see a lot of institutional money. But I just find it hard to believe that, we'll ever have an altcoin bull run like we did last time, where absolutely everything is going to the moon. I think that the institutional money that everybody's talking about that's going to come into the space, that we're going to have a $2 trillion market cap, I think that is going to come in the form of projects that haven't hit the market yet, and in home-based in-house blockchain solutions and into Bitcoin. That's my opinion, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. When do you think the institutional money is going to come? Do you think it's going to come at all? That's just my thought process, because I know personally hedge funds and fintech funds that are raising money to invest in these assets for their investors. And the interest is there, but I just think that the price has been taken such a hit. And we've seen this before. People who've been in cryptocurrencies for a long time. I myself haven't. I got in just before the altcoin bull run, thankfully, right? But we've seen this before, and educated investors know how markets work. Markets roll in cycles, right? You have your parabolic move to the upside, and then you have your sell-off, and then I think we'll see nice, long, dragged out accumulation pattern for our next bull run up. And my price target is the same, probably around $25,000 to $35,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. And I will size into my position should it hit that level. And I think institutional money will continue to buy Bitcoin. I think the Chinese will continue to buy Bitcoin. I think I'm bullish. Well, I know I'm bullish on many Chinese projects. I've always been bullish on China. I've traded a lot in the stock market. Made a couple of good swing trades on ticker SBUX, Starbucks, because they're expanding rapidly into China, and they're the fastest growing middle class, fastest growing economy. And I think that the United States owes a lot to China, because they've pretty much propped up our way of life for the past decade through them pretty much buying up all our debt. But that's another story for another time, guys. That concludes the video. I hope you liked it. What do you guys think? I really don't like to do these videos just like kind of preaching at you, telling you what I think. I kind of want to, get an open dialogue because honestly, guys, I don't know. I'm speculating just like you guys are, but I'm taking all the data sets that I have from, my experience in the market, my experience trading, from what I'm hearing on the street, personally working with some fintech hedge funds that are going to launch into the space and that are very interested in some projects that are on the market and off the market. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm going to try to get back to daily uploads, but I will be in Kansas City next week for about 3 or 4 days, but then I will be back in New York and hopefully I get my webcam fixed. So until next time, guys, let me know what you think Bitcoin is going to do and the cryptocurrency market's going to do in the comments below. Take it easy.